So just in case you missed it, which I do think you probably did, considering the fact that YouTube impressions are down across this YouTube channel again, hence the 189 views. But if you had missed it, yesterday we spoke about Montreal's victory over the Toronto Maple Leafs. We also spoke about how it was a pretty good day for Montreal in general, with wins by the Florida Panthers over Detroit. Tampa Bay ended up losing. There was a lot to like out of yesterday's NHL results. But with all that said, we have some more notes to talk about when it comes to the Canadiens and their win over Toronto, and we have some other updates as well when it comes to guys on the team that we kind of need to talk about as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let's talk about yesterday's Montreal victory and get into all the newest in Canadiens conversation. Obviously, the Habs beat Toronto 3-1 yesterday, and I wanted to give some extra shout-outs, not to the guy who scored the 1-0 goal, Oliver Kapanen, but to the guy who was probably the biggest key in setting up the goal in the first place. No, not the primary assist guy, Alex Newhook, but the one-on-one board battle specialist, Ivan Demidov, who was shaking his way on the corner and on the half boards before finding Newhook with the puck, who then threw it out in front to allow Oliver Kapanen to get his 20th goal on the season. Demidov was an absolute gosh darn magician. And I think at this point, we are really starting to see that Demidov has those skills to be an absolutely elite NHL player, even though it is still young in his NHL career. Demidov is all the way up there to 49 points in 63 games played, on pace for 64 points over 82 games. Now, is he going to win the Calder this season? I would probably say no. Matthew Schaefer has that on lock. But Ivan Demidov, on pace for 64 points, is still doing a really good amount of work. And I think a lot of Canadiens fans can be very happy to see this number come up as a rookie season. Like, just think about it from last year's perspective. We saw Demidov doing all these things in the KHL. He was so productive, he was so skilled, so talented, etc. His flight from Moscow to Toronto was the #1 tracked flight on the planet when it was going on. Or at least, it wasn't technically on the planet. It was like in the sky, right? So maybe it wasn't on the planet, but it was the most tracked flight on Earth at that point in time. If you were to tell Canadiens fans from a year ago that Ivan Demidov would be on pace for a 60-something point year with 19 games to go in the regular season, I think a lot of fans would be happy with that. Sure, it's not point per game technically, but Demidov wasn't technically a point per game player in the KHL either. And when you compare him to all the other KHL studs of yesteryear, of course, the biggest one was Kirill Kaprizov, that everybody was taking his production and comparing it side by side with Demidov's. I'd say Kaprizov is a consistent 90 to 100 point caliber player right now. Demidov is doing pretty well for a guy who's only 20 years old. There was a question after the game. Thoughts on his ability to win one-on-one battles to make plays. How confident am I? Pretty confident. Keep in mind, he's only 20 years old. Keep in mind, he is only a rookie. This is his first year in the National Hockey League, and he's already going out there with snarky, smug, confident media answers like this. You absolutely love to see it. That guy is awesome. Pretty confident, he says. I think Demidov should play 5v5 with either Caufield or Suzuki to get an elite one-timer option from the right wing. I'd be down to try to separate Suzuki-Caufield for a few games. Yeah, Caufield and Suzuki are not getting separated this late into the year and when the games are this important. And speaking about that, actually, we did see Caufield and Suzuki get split up for a little bit throughout the course of last game. Demidov had some opportunities to play with Nick Suzuki and Slavkovsky, but that was because of the injury bug, or should I say, the actual illness bug. Cole Caufield ended up missing some shifts in yesterday's game against Toronto. Stu Cowan tweeted this out after the fact. Caufield wasn't dealing with an injury. He just wasn't feeling well. Battling a bug. So, Marty St. Louis pulling the plug on Cole Caufield's ice time in yesterday's contest. If you go over to the time on ice report for the Montreal Canadiens from yesterday's game, and you scroll down to number 13, Caufield Cole, you will see that in period number 1, he had himself 8 shifts. In period number 2, he had himself, 5 shifts. And then in the third period, he only had 2 shifts at 1:31 and 53 seconds each. So Cole Caufield was not played a lot in the second half of this game. He was removed from the top line, and if the guy needed a little bit of extra time to recover from whatever it is that he was dealing with, then okay, that's totally fine. Just gotta take some Vicks, gotta take some Buckleys, gotta take some all-purpose Tylenol for whatever it is that you have, Cole Caufield. But of course, with that said, it was interesting to see Ivan Demidov get that opportunity to play with Suzuki and the top-line guys. Speaking about top-line players, let's finish this video off by talking about a statistic with Lane Hutson that was posted about earlier yesterday. Here's the list of most assists by NHL defensemen in history within their first 150 NHL games. Number 1, Lane Hutson with 116. Number 2, Sergei Zubov with 115. And number 3, Cale Makar at 112. This is an absolutely ridiculous NHL stat. The fact that Lane Hutson is the number 1 defenseman in terms of assists within their first 150 NHL games. I'm just thinking about the amount of legends that are not on this list. You're thinking about the Coffees, the Borks, the Bobby Orrs of the world. Obviously, circumstances are different between different eras and different players, so it's very difficult to just directly say, oh yeah, well, Lane Hutson is out assisting Bobby Orr when Bobby Orr played his first few seasons in the NHL. But then again, you gotta remember, Bobby Orr, it took him a while to get going. His first year saw him put up 41 points, and then 31. He didn't really crack the point-per-game mark until his 4th season, where he absolutely exploded for 120 points in 76 games. It was at this stage when we realized, oh, Bobby Orr is kind of like the best defenseman to ever live. But ultimately, when it comes to hot starts and immediate production, Lane Hutson is putting himself in a territory matched by nobody else, overtaking Zubov, overtaking Cale Makar. Big shout out over to Sergei Zubov, by the way. Like, the fact that he is on this list as well just goes to show you the kind of crazy career that he ended up having as a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Rangers and everybody else over there. I mean, he came over from the Soviet League and then played immediately for the Rangers, was an assist machine, and then was a part of a Stanley Cup championship squad in his first full year in only the National Hockey League. So, big shout out to Sergei Zubov as well. And then I guess that Cale Makar guy deserves some props too, right? But with that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about these Canadiens news and notes from Ivan Demidov's one-on-one confidence to Cole Caufield getting a little bit sick yesterday, Lane Hutson surging to the top of the NHL assist ranks for defensemen within their first 150 NHL games. How does all that make you feel? Let me know in the comment section all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.